What's going on, you guys? So today I'm with Ben and we are downtown in an alleyway. I don't know where, we just kind of found this place. Whoa! What the hell? Ben just showed me this fake spider. It scared the hell out of me. Anyways, we are downtown and we're in an alleyway that we just found, and we're gonna be showing you guys two techniques on how to float in your photos. The first technique just requires you and your friend, your subject, to jump into the air and be really fluid and dreamlike in the air. So it's kind of hard to do, it takes a little bit of practice, but I think Ben's done a few of those at home just to kind of warm up, so that should be good. And then the second technique requires a stool, which we've actually brought from home. So we've got this thing here, and we're gonna set this up, and Ben's gonna lay down on top of it, and then in post we'll be able to remove the stool. So yeah, let's jump into the first method, and then we'll jump into the second one, and then we'll go home. I'll show you guys how to edit them, what we do in Lightroom and Photoshop, and yeah, let's take some floating photos. Okay guys, so we're actually just gonna get Ben to jump here, and we're gonna show you guys what will work and what won't. So we'll show a few jumps that won't work first, and then we'll show you guys a few that do. Okay guys, so I've got my camera out now. Ben is about to do these jumps for the first method, and I'm actually shooting at f1.6, so we get that nice bokeh. And my shutter speed is at 1/1250, and that's because I really want to get a really crisp, sharp image with no motion blur, so it really looks like Ben's kind of static in the air. My ISO is at 500 right now because of the high shutter, so when we have a high shutter the image will be darker, and so we can compensate with the higher ISO. So yeah, let's start taking these photos. Okay guys, so we just did the first technique, and I think we actually nailed it. We got some really awesome photos. So for the second technique, we're going to be using this tool here, and I've propped it up kind of in the middle here, and Ben's going to lie down with his back facing down, and he's going to lie kind of this way, look all dreamy and stuff. So for this shot, we're actually going to take two photos. One of Ben on the stool, and then one of just the background without the stool, without Ben. The reason for that is when we take these two photos into Photoshop later, we can cut out the stool and use the background image to replace that lost space. So it'll be really seamless image and look like Ben's actually floating. So yeah, let's hop into the second technique. Okay guys, so Ben, you can go ahead and lie down on that stool now. And when you do lie down, you can let that jacket kind of fall down the side, so it kind of hides that flat space where the stool will be pressing into your back, so it looks a little more real. Stick your legs up a little bit. A little higher, because they're like, yeah, kind of like that. And maybe stick an arm up. Other arm, behind arm, yeah. A little higher. Yeah, I think that'll look cool. So let's go back to the camera and take this photo. A little more. Okay guys, so that worked out really well. We got the shot of Ben laying down on that stool, and then now all we need is just a shot of the background without Ben and the stool, so it'll be easy to kind of merge those two together in Photoshop later. So let's do that. Let's press that shutter button. Perfect. So there you guys have it. That's the second technique done. And now all we have to do is take these photos home. We can put those two photos together in Photoshop, and then we can take that into Lightroom, throw an edit on it, and then I can show you guys the results that we got. So I'm really looking forward to going to edit these, and I will recap with you guys at home on the computer. So that was really fun, and those photos were really fun to edit as well because they actually turned out way better than I thought they would. The effect those photos give off is almost magical in a way. It's almost like some unknown force is like pulling Ben up off the ground and he's just kind of limp and going with it. He's almost dead, like he's pretty much dead. Anyways, let's take these photos out and let's take a look at what we actually got. So this was the first technique, and all it required was for Ben to jump up into the air and kind of go limp and fluid in the air. It was really hard for him to do, but he did a few practice ones and he got it in the end. I guess it's hard to get the technique right because it's almost like, well, it is. It's an unnatural movement when Ben jumps up into the air, and you have to try and be fluid in the air as well. So you have to go limp and your arms have to kind of flutter, and then you have to actually try and land on your feet before you hit the ground, and it's just really hard to do. Good job to Ben for actually getting that right. So for the edit, I really wanted it to be dark and grungy, and of course I added in that blue tone because I always do. I thought that would add to the effect of that really dreamy and magical feel, and I think it worked out really well, to be honest. But yeah, don't get me wrong, this is not a really happy, magical feeling. It's kind of almost depressing and sad, I guess. I don't know. It's not really that happy, but it's just really cool. I think it fits well with the fact that Ben and I were actually shooting in like a back alley, and it was really dark, kind of like, I don't know, dirty, gross. It smelled really awful. So yeah, I think it just kind of fits perfectly. So that was the first technique, and let's go ahead and check out the second technique where Ben was actually lying on the stool face up. So here is the second photo that we took, and this is the second technique. We're actually kind of lucky that it actually worked out because that stool almost broke. You can see in the video where it was like really shaky, and it just has incredible instability. So yeah, really happy that did not break because otherwise we would not have a photo. Other than that, I think yeah, we got a banger on our hands here. This photo turned out perfectly, pretty much, and yeah, let's dive into what we did here. So this technique required two photos. One of the photos was Ben lying down on the stool, and the second one was just the background without Ben. So to get this shot right, we actually had to use a tripod, and that's because when we import those two separate photos into Photoshop, they have to be aligned perfectly, because essentially what we're doing is when we mask out that stool, we're kind of painting in that background, so it kind of fills in that lost space when we remove the stool. So yeah, using a tripod for this technique is essential unless you are a god and you can take perfectly steady photos in the exact same spot, which you're probably not. I'm not. So before I could actually take this into Lightroom, I did have to put those two photos together in Photoshop. Yeah, essentially what I did is I aligned those two photos together, put the bare alley photo just behind the photo of Ben on the stool. So with the pen tool, I created a mask over the stool. Then I created a selection with that mask. Then I brushed it out with the brush selected black. What that did is it removed the stool, and I painted in that background so it kind of fills in that space and creates a really seamless image, and you can't tell that the stool was actually there in the first place. And also, if I ever made a mistake, I could just switch that black paintbrush to white, and then I could paint back in what I had previously brushed out. So once that edit was done in Photoshop, I then exported that photo into Lightroom, and essentially I just copied the edit from the previous photo and pasted it onto this photo. You can do that by right-clicking the photo, clicking the development settings, and then click copy, and then you can just paste that edit onto any photo you like. So yeah, that's all I did in Lightroom, and I just made a few minor adjustments after that, but that photo turned out really, really well, and I'm super stoked about it. So there you guys have it. Those are two techniques on how to float in your photos. So if you guys did enjoy this video, go hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Also go follow me on Instagram. It should pop up right here somewhere. And yeah, I post most of my photos there, and if you want to see more content of mine, just go hit that follow button. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will hopefully see you in the next one.